Financial Survival Network, helping you survive and thrive in the new economy. Go to CarrieLutz.com and sign up for 30 free micro trainings on financial survival.
1490 WGCH. This is Carrie Lutz. You're listening to the Financial Survival Network. Back with us, Ranting Andy Hoffman, for our weekly sojourn into the precious metals arena. Andy, I bet you're feeling good today, aren't you?
Well, I'm glad that our interview got pushed off a couple of days because we have plenty to talk about.
Ooh, boy, do we ever. So the Fed had a little meeting, and they made a little announcement. Tell us the gist of it.
Well, over the past month, going back to mid-December, I've been posting articles from the Fed governors talking about their thoughts on the future. And I have at least 4, maybe it's 5 Fed governors who said pretty publicly and profusely that we needed more stimulus. So very contradictory to what the government says, what Obama is saying at his speech last night, how everything's great. Clearly, the Fed doesn't think things are great, which they're not. They were right about something for once. And, when they had their meeting today, I honestly was expecting the same language as they've said before. We're going to go to mid-2013 with low interest rates, and we still see risks to the downside. But they kind of floored the market when they changed their policy statement to saying ZIRP until at least the end of 2014. So they've added 18 months onto this timeline, which only had been set 5 months ago. So that tells you how bad things are. And it's obviously not just here, but in Europe and Japan and plenty other places in the world.
Yeah, and if you were Johnny Carson and I was Ed McMahon, I'd say, how bad is it?
Well, look, it's nothing that most of the people listening to this podcast don't know already. Certainly we know about what's going on. It's only a matter of time before the masses of the world get it. And I don't think it's going to be too much longer before they understand what the concept of debt saturation is, of diminishing return of new debt, and of what the ultimate result is of money printing.
Hey, it just amazes me. But we all know that the one thing we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. So we just have to keep repeating it over and over again. But if people had been listening to you and I for the past, well, you're at it a longer time than me, but I'm at it for 2-3 years, they would be sitting pretty right now, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Well, it's, again, I don't think of it in terms of wealth gaining anymore. Now it's just a matter of if you can see the bad things going on and not be losing, you're winning. And, if you're in precious metals, and aside from that, you're preparing yourself for the kind of things we're talking about. That includes, stocking up on things you might need, lowering your cost of living and lifestyle, and in general, setting lower expectations for the world. You'll, as you say, be sitting pretty.
Yeah, and that really is it. The understanding that the consumerist society is dead. And your big box stores there, with the exception of maybe Walmart, they're not going to be doing too well for the foreseeable future. Just surviving is the goal. And I don't think that should be our goal in general, but obviously the first thing you have to do before you can do anything else is survive. And there's still time to hop on the gold, silver bandwagon, protect whatever it is you have left. There's probably other ways of doing it too, but certainly that's the one that's available to the greatest number of people, right?
Yeah, well, again, gold and silver are not investments, they are money. So when you're buying them, you're really just trading one currency for another. And it's safety. I mean, there's nothing more comforting than knowing that what you have will not lose its value. And I'm not talking about the cartel comes and knocks the paper gold price down for a month or two. I mean, I just looked, gold was at 1710 or close to it, whereas just a month ago, not even a month ago, it was 1520 and everyone was out saying it's the end of the world. It will always come back and hit a new high. And as for the bandwagon, there is no bandwagon yet. I would say we've moved from inning 1 to maybe inning 2. And eventually, when gold is 5 digits and hopefully not 6 digits, because that would mean hyperinflation has taken over everything, people understand what I mean.
Right. Well, The one thing is that because the cartel's been keeping the prices down, there is a market price of gold and silver, and it's trading for less than that. And it's the same thing as, you being a New Yorker, that rent-controlled apartment in Manhattan that you rent for $1,000, that's really worth closer to $5,000. So you effectively get that $4,000 a month subsidy. It's amazing that it exists, but that's the finite wisdom of our leaders. And gold and silver really are the same thing. Even though they've gone up, the fact is silver, probably more so than gold, can actually appreciate, and you could actually see real earnings from it, I would say, in all likelihood. Because once the bandwagon starts, it just is not going to stop until something happens to stop it.
Yeah, well, the problem with rent control is that eventually it always goes away, either by death, by faulty paperwork, someone just moves out and doesn't pay attention to it. It always goes away, or by decree, either protecting the homeowners or by lawsuit. At some point, it goes away. And you talk about the market price. Not only is the market price less than what it should be because of the cartel, it's also less than what you're actually going to pay in the market today, physical. And I'm waiting to see how our sales are this afternoon at Miles Franklin, but they've been very quiet for the past week or two because of this kind of lockdown we've had where the government's kind of taken over every market, the stock market, the bond market, the currency market. No one seems to care. But I have a feeling that all of a sudden a lot of people are going to be woken up by this announcement because I honestly, as much as I have expected, ongoing QE, I really was shocked to see them change something that they just changed 5 months ago so drastically. And we were talking before this call, you mentioned the difference between the Fed speak and the real speak. And, my thought is there is no Fed speak this time around. They just said, we're lowering our expectations. We're extending our timeline of loose money. And the scary thing is that they still are putting out this 2% long-term inflation rate expectation when, right now we're probably closer to, 7 to 10%. And if they think keeping interest rates at zero for 2 years is not going to raise inflation, they're out of their minds.
Yeah, the fraud goes on, huh? The fraud just goes on because 2%, I mean, it just doesn't exist. Now, it hasn't existed for a very long time, and you just have to go to the gas pump. I mean, prices starting to kick up there. It's just a matter of time till we really, really see it. I mean, I'm looking at Kitco. In the past year, ounce of gold is up $374 an ounce, 28%. And that really is pretty remarkable. And let's just say that it kept its value during that time. To think that $1,300, you now need almost $1,700 to buy what $1,350 would have bought a year ago. That's a little frightening in and of itself.
But the scary thing in the commodities pits is, considering we're supposedly in this global collapse, and I say supposedly because yes, we are, but the government tries to tell you that we're not. But it's the non-monetary commodities that have been soaring as well. Copper is near its all-time high right now, and oil is not far from its highs, which is a pretty scary, diagnosis for an economy that the Fed proclaims has no inflation in right now.
Yeah, exactly. Demand for these commodities is going down, and the price is going up. Counterintuitive, and that tells you that's really a worrisome sign. Really, really, I mean, that's just bad. There's no other way to put it, because in recessions in the past, commodity prices take it on the chin. They go down. They don't go up. It's telling me we got some bad times ahead. We'll see how bad, but I don't want to end on a negative note here.
I fully expect another challenge to the all-time highs later this year. It could be a lot sooner than we think. Mm-hmm. And for those people just staring at that silver erratic action, I believe that there's going to be the biggest triple top breakout of all time. It took 32 years to happen. And when it does go over $50 and escape the cartel, I think you're going to see a new leg of this bull market.
Right. Katie, bar the doors. Right?
Uh-huh.
So the Giants, huh?
Yeah, I am so excited. I got a new TV. I'm having a Super Bowl
Right.
party, and it's going to be great.
Hey, I told you I was in Vegas the last time. I had no plans to go there for the game, but now I'm seriously thinking hopping on a plane and going to the Mirage's multi-thousand person Super Bowl party, because it was so much fun the last time. And if they win again this time, boy, forget it. It's just going to be total pandemonium. So,
Well, here's my one last prediction on this call, and that is the ratings for this Super Bowl will be higher than any in history.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. That, along with your gold and silver picks, I think are pretty much money in the bank. So, anyway, next week, Andy, and what's the price of gold right now? I'm going to write it down.
It is 1709.
Yeah, which 17 is an important number, resistance point in itself. So, and then silver, we're at 33 something,
33.30. Now, keep in mind, when Operation PM Annihilation 2 started December 8th, which was when they put out, that was when the ECB cut rates to 1%, and that headline came out that said gold and silver being sold by the Fed. At that time, gold was $17.50 and silver was $33. So we're already up back there for silver, and we're just about there for gold.
Which just shows that you can manipulate the market for short periods of time, but over time, the market will find its own level.
Absolutely.
All right, Ann. Great talking to you. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, Kerry.
All right. Be good.